Good evening, all. I welcome you all to the last day of our national level FDP on next gen deep learning from foundational concepts to applied intelligence. So today we have Dr. Lyernisha S R, lecturer in software engineering, University of the West of England, United Kingdom, with us to share an expert talk on the title Explainable, Efficient and Ethical, the 3 E's of next gen deep learning. Now I invite Ms. A. Jinita, Assistant Professor, Department of Computer Science and Engineering, to introduce the resource person.
Thank you, Dr. Herlin. Good evening, everyone. It's my great pleasure to welcome you all to today's session on explainable, efficient, and ethical, the 3 E's on next-gen deep learning. We are honored to have with us Dr. Lyernisha S R, who is currently lecturer in software engineering in School of Computing and Creative Technologies, University of the West of England, United Kingdom. With 5 years of experience in the field of software development, computing, and technology, and she holds a PhD from Anna University in Information and Communication Engineering. She has contributed significantly through software development life cycles, software architecture, database management, and artificial intelligence, and particularly interested in image processing to bring real-world applications, and the area of expertise are artificial intelligence and machine learning, research and trends in image processing, user experience and user interface design, web development, and also having lot of publications. Today, she will be sharing his valuable insights on explainable, efficient, and ethical, the 3 E's of next-gen deep learning, which we are eager to learn about. With further ado, I invite Dr. Lyernisha S R to take the stage. Let's give a warm welcome. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much for your generous introduction, Dr. Jinita. Thank you for inviting me for this event. And huge thanks to Marifram College of Engineering for organizing this FDP, and also to Dr. Herlin ma'am and the entire team for making efforts to bring us all together today. Most of all, I would like to thank all the participants who are here, taking time out of your busy schedules to join the session. Welcome you all to the session. So I will share my screen with you all now. Let me pull it up. Is my screen visible, everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, hi, everyone. Today I'll be talking about explainable, efficient, and ethical AI, the 3 E's of next-gen deep learning. So, my name is Lyernisha. I'm a lecturer in software engineering at UW Bristol. And for today's presentation, I would like to use Mentimeter. I'm sure most of you have already have used this Menti for your teaching. But today I will go through with some interactive elements where there will be some questions. You can give your answer. To highlight, in Mentimeter, all the answers are recorded as anonymous. So none of your details will be revealed, or even to me, I cannot see who posted what. So feel free to share your answers to everyone. So I would like to request each and every participant to join that. And also I will post the Menti link in our FDP also, so that you can join. And if possible, I will post it in the chat. Yeah, so you can go to that link and you can see my presentation. And in between the presentation, there will be some interactive questions that can be some multiple choice question, or maybe you will be typing with Word. You will form word cloud. So it will be fun to have some interactive elements between that. So I believe all of you are here in this. So not like students turning the meeting on and leaving away. So I want everyone to stay here to participate in the interactive session. So can you all join to this? Can I get some confirmation from you? You can give me some thumbs up if you can able to join the Menti link. Thank you so much. So those who couldn't join, you can join using the link I'm posting in the WhatsApp group. So I have posted there as well. So you can go and see the first screen. Yeah. Okay. So I can see 9 members joined the Menti. So if everyone can join, please give me a thumbs up so that I will know that you are able to join the Menti. So feel free to answer the questions. So there is no right or wrong for any of the questions. And since it is anonymous, no fear of getting judgmental. So feel free to use it. And let's begin the session today with a question. How do you feel today? So are you happy? Are you excited? Looking for some information? You can express that in a word, or you can use some emojis to explain how do you feel. So you can give your answer in Menti and come back to the Google Meet so that you can see others' response as well. So it will be fun actually. All right. So most of you are happy, enjoying. Thanks to know that. Okay. So since this is the fifth day of FDP, I know most of you are exhausted, having to get most of the things like into deep learning, all the techniques, methods, algorithms. I know it will be tired, but still I'll try my best to take the session more interactive rather than boring. All right. Fine. Let me begin the countdown so that hurry up to give the answer. Okay. Nice. Perfect. Okay. By knowing your feelings, let's begin the presentation. So once the teacher asked, what is 2 plus 5? He got the answer as 7. And the entire crowd was amazed by hearing this answer. I know you will be wondering, or you will not be surprised, because even a kid can answer this question, what is 2 plus 7, which will be 2 plus 5, which will be 7. But what if I tell you the answer is not from a human, but instead it's from a horse? I know you will be surprised. So there was a horse named as Clever Hans, which does performance among group of audience in Germany in 1904. So the peculiarity of this horse is very intelligent. It can able to solve or answer simple mathematical question, and it was able to identify certain colors and objects. So how does this happen is, so it taps its foot on a flat surface. So for example, if I ask what is 2 plus 5, it taps on the surface for 7 times, not more than that. So everyone, including researchers, psychologists, everyone was surprised by this intelligence behavior from an animal. No one was able to believe it, but all the time it gave the right answer. So there were some researchers who were still unconvinced, believing this intelligent behavior from an animal. They performed certain research and came up with a test proving that indeed the horse is an intelligent one, but not with math or identifying objects, but it is very intelligent to study the human expression. So it identified the expression of human to reach the right tap. So that is the study result. And later on, it has been proved using certain tests. Like, for example, how they proved is, so they try to ask question by hiding the face of the questioner. So in those questions, the horse struggled to answer. It didn't end up with the right answer. And also, some questions were asked, making sure the person who's asking the question doesn't know the answer. So in that case, if I don't know the answer for the question I ask, so I will not be showing much expression, right? So in that case also, the horse failed to answer. So from that, they concluded that the horse is intelligent enough to identify the body language of human, not with mathematics or identifying objects. So this effect is called as clever Hans effect. So I have given you the link. If you want, you can go for further reading. So this effect tells you the importance of explainability. So when you know, only if you are focusing on the result rather than understanding the process, then doesn't mean that the mission is accomplished, right? So coming to the question, let me throw you a question. What's the first thing that comes to your mind when you hear the word deep learning? So when someone say deep learning, what comes to your mind first? What's your concern? Or do you think it is beneficial for human? Or do you think it is going to harm human? Whatever. If you are doing some research, interesting research, you can post your answers here. So what is the first thing? It can be some applications you wonder or you are using with deep learning or artificial intelligence. Yeah. So you can give your thoughts. It will be a double-edged sword. Yeah, very good. Because you can use both for wellness as well as for disaster. Yeah, learning it in detail or at more depth. Obviously, in deep learning, what makes it is peculiar is the depth of the network. So we have more complex network. So explainability is a question mark. Yeah, neural network. So artificial neural network is the basis of, I will say that is an important subset of deep learning. Yes. Yeah, more data set. That's brilliant answer. So yeah, so deep learning uses billions of data to form a successful model. Yeah, good. Artificial neural networks, yes. Very good. Accuracy, yeah, well done. See, because most of the time we try to create a model and we want it to give you the accurate result. Forgetting about all the three E's, we mostly focus on accuracy. We want 90% accurate results, forgetting about all the explainability, ethics, all those things. So today I will remind you why these three E's are very much important. Yeah. Well done. We have patterns here. Obviously, machines using deep learning rely on pattern rather than understanding like human. They only rely mostly on pattern. This is the main concern of most of the researchers and scientists. Yeah. Well done. So let me begin the countdown so that we'll move to the next slide. Multiple layers, hybrid models. Yeah, good. Interesting. Okay, so now let's move to the key objectives of today's session. So as you all know, what is deep learning and how it performs the classification or prediction tasks, but we mostly forget these three E's. That is, the first one is explainability. So whenever you get a result, make sure the intended mission is successful. So whether the machine is or the model is trying to learn what you intend or whether it is taking any shortcuts, right? So like in Cleverhorn's effect, you can see the horse is intelligent in identifying the human body language, not with math, but all the time it gave the right answer, right? So accuracy doesn't mean that your model is performing what you intend for, what you want it to do, right? So explainability is a factor, and then we have the efficiency. So when you have very complex models nowadays, especially with generative AIs, balancing the performance with the resources we have in terms of it could be cost, it could be energy, it could be um, environmental impact. So how we are balancing this performance of your model with the resource use. So we'll talk about these in the efficiency. And then finally, we'll conclude with ethics, which ensures that AI doesn't harm human and it follows certain standards to maintain fairness, accountability, and societal benefits. So these are the key objectives I have planned to share with you all today. And trust me, there will not be much technical terms in today's session because my focus is to make sure everyone understands these three objectives. I'm sure everyone is good enough to build models to get good, accurate result in your research, but these three should be considered more in the further researches. So why explainability is a matter in deep learning? Because as you all know, deep learning models are considered to be opaque, like a black box, which doesn't give you the explaining mechanism or the process, what is happening to your input to come to a prediction or output. So no one knows. Now, some researchers are being researching in explainable AI concept using model agnostic model and some other techniques to understand how it is coming to the conclusion. What input features are used most or utilized more to come to a prediction. Good predictive performance alone is not enough to make full use of the model we develop. So all the time doesn't mean you get 95 or 99% of accuracy, especially in medical diagnosis. That doesn't mean that the model is performing well, because most of the model will perform well with test data, but fails in real-time deployment, right? So it is very important to have this explainability factor in our deep learning. And also, in deep learning, mostly all the models rely on patterns. Some of the patterns, even the human fails to identify, will be identified by the machine. Sometimes that can be helpful. Sometimes it leads to disaster. Like if there is a bias in your training data, then if some huge mistake occurs, then only you will be knowing that there was a careless mistake or there was a bias hidden in the training data that resulted in the disaster. So if you want to trust your model, then explainability should be there. So here are some of the research materials I have found. So in here, there was an image classifier model, which was used to identify or classify objects in the image. And what happened is the model found a shortcut on relying on the text in the image rather than identifying the features of the animal or the horse maybe. So when the text feature is removed from the image, the model failed to classify the object. So this clearly shows why we need the explainability. So once you have the explainability, we will know, okay, the model has learned to identify the required features for the classification. But in some cases, we fail to do that, focusing on the output or accurate results. So in that case, the model is going to be a failure, not a success, even though if you get 99% accuracy with your test data. And another classifier, which was built to classify wolf from a husky dog breed, it relied, rather than identifying the features of wolf and dog, it relied on the presence of snow in the background. So what it learned is if there is snow present in the background, it concluded that as a wolf. And if there is no snow present, or if there is a grass or some kind of other stuff, it classified that as a dog. Even though you get the right classification, later on, when they try to analyze the model, how this has been um, classified, they came to know that because of snow, the model was classifying it rightly. So this case cannot be, we cannot expect the real images in the real time. In real time, there may be wolf without snow background. So in that time, the classifier will not be able to adapt to that, because your training set trained the model to identify the snow, not the features of wolf or husky. So these kind of examples gives us the importance of explainability in our deep learning model. And especially, I wanted to bring some of the topics why we need this explainability in this context is human curiosity and learning. We human tends to have the curiosity and we try to learn as much as possible. For example, if you have met with unexpected happening, like for example, if I catch a cold today, I'll be thinking, why should I get it? So then I will be thinking of myself. So what did I do to catch a cold? So I'll get to know that yesterday night I ate an ice cream. So maybe because of that, I have a cold today. So that is what how we will be connecting things, and we will have an explanation to ourselves. But in case of deep learning, it's not the case, because the model relies on the test data you provide. So whatever data you provide, the machine is going to learn. So it struggles with dealing with uncertainty and unexpected happening in real world. So that is why we need to have this explainability. And moving to safety measures and testing, this is very important when we develop some models for healthcare or autonomous vehicle. For example, if during the development of machine learning model, if the developers find that, so automatically the vehicle breaks itself. So we have to understand why, what went wrong. uh, is it because of the sensor error, or with the design, or is there anything happening? Did it misidentified any obstacle? So we have to analyze the results before deploying it in real world. So we need this explainability. And then detecting bias. So bias is an important factor when we talk about deep learning. So AI nowadays discriminates more based on the data they get during the training time. So, for example, for loan approval, some of the big bank they use deep learning model to approve loans. So, in that, in some cases, they have identified bias with the deep learning using the address of the person who is applying for loan. It identified the postcode, and by proxy, the postcode represented a community or some race people who belongs to that, and it started to reject their loan. So this is a discrimination, but this is not intended one. During training, they ignored the address and postcode data, but the AI learned from that. So before deploying to a real time, it is important to analyze for these to have your good deep learning model in real world. And moving onwards, we have the social acceptance. So if you want to convince anyone to use your deep learning models, obviously you need to make them understand how the output is being derived. If they don't understand, there will be resistance, because they'll be afraid of using your models, right? So for social acceptance, you have to be able to explain. So from this input, these features are taken, and this is contributing to your final classification. So those kind of explainability is much needed. And for debugging and auditing, especially with spam filters we have in our email inboxes, so sometimes the deep learning models working behind it may misidentify the important legitimate emails and put them to the spam. So all these things will be based on some exceptional keywords. So it is our responsibility when you are developing the model to identify those things using some explainable model attaching to your deep learning. So with this, do you feel like all the deep learning models we have should have this explainability component? What do you think about it? So do you think all the deep learning models we have need explainability criteria? As I told you, there is no right or wrong answer in this. So you can feel free to share whatever you think fits to the answer, to the question. It's not like I have one right answer. So all the answers could be right. So I'll start the countdown now from 30 seconds. There you go. All right. So we have mixed results. So let's see. So explainability doesn't come free, it has its own computational cost. So when you start build complex deep learning models, there will be computation, but yes, some sensitive application do need explainability components. So when we talk about this self-driving cars or healthcare application, some application dealing with uh, privacy matters like data of people or terrorist data, defense. So those application, obviously, they need explainability. So those who voted for no, I will say, yes, I agree that some deep learning models, they don't need explainability. For example, if I build a deep learning model to find out the next holiday location of my friend using his or her Facebook data. So in that case, that doesn't matter. So if I predict it right, that's okay. I'll feel proud. If not, there will be little embarrassment. That's it. So nothing is going to be at high risk. So in those cases, you can skip explainability of deep learning models. And also in some applications which is well studied, like when you use optical character recognition for capturing the text. So those are used for more number of times and everyone knows it. So those kind of models doesn't need explainability. So for maybe, yes, it all depends on what you want and what you do, what application you are going to use your deep learning model to deal with. Yeah. Well done. So coming to the next objective of today, we'll talk about efficiency. So most of the deep learning models we use are power hungry, means they need more power to train the models for maintenance. So as you all know, deep learning relies on data. So it's not a data with we store or we carry in our pen drives. It is millions of record which will be processed by the computer. So we have special data centers to store all those data. So all the time you use data and it needs power for training, and the data centers tend to generate heat. So in order to cool down, again, we need to have some methods that needs electricity. So recent studies show that nearly 40% of entire power is going for cooling process of those data centers. So these deep learning models, complex, I'm talking about generative AI stuff. So these hungry power deep learning models, they need more electricity. For a comparison, I can say, for a complex model to train, the amount of electricity needed is equivalent to supplying electricity for 100 to 120 households in a year. So you can imagine how much amount of power is needed for this training model. And interesting thing is, so we have the model and we are going to train it. So what about the sources we use to produce this electricity? And what about the carbon footprint we leave? So these things also should be taken into account. So you can go with certain, we also have certain techniques like we have TinyML, so which is a machine learning model which can be executed using microcontroller. So it can be seen in wearables like watches and the fitness bands. So all these things uses this TinyML, which is very tiny. So choosing the model, choosing the complex model is a choice. So based on the application, we have to be mindful to choose them. And also, most of the countries, they are moving towards green AI, which means the power they use for training the models, they are planning to get it from renewable resources. So that's a perfect plan. So in UK, by 2050, they are aiming to have zero non-renewable resources used for the electricity. Means they are going to go with entire renewable sources for powering this AI stuff. And we have to come up with energy efficient techniques. It is also an interesting research area to consider. So you can use compressed model, which will save you a huge energy cost. Like in Facebook Meta, they have saved $1 million annually in energy cost by using compressed models. So efficiency is also a matter when we are using complex deep learning methods. So these are some of the things you can consider, factors you can consider to make your artificial intelligence more efficient. So I have given you some 5 factors. You can rate them, which you consider is very important to make your deep learning model efficient, which you think, okay, you can compromise in that. Again, I'm telling you, it's anonymous. You're not going to be judged. So everyone is getting 5 out of 5. So there should be some trade-offs. There will be trade-offs because no algorithm is going to be perfect. Yeah. Okay. Let me begin the countdown. So hurry up. Perfect. So most of you have given speed as an efficient one. Okay, good. Obviously, speed is important factor because think of using a Google for searching something. And what if it takes some 10 minutes to fetch out the results? No one is going back to Google again, right? So speed obviously is needed, but still we have to analyze some background stuff like algorithmic design. Is it possible to prune some of the inactive neurons? So we have to be thinking in that way as well. And hardware. So hardware cost, again, it comes into this efficiency. Yeah. You can try using specialized chips like neuro chips are trendy now in deep learning. So we can replace the existing hardware with the specialized one specifically made for this deep learning. Yeah. Perfect. Finally, we have this ethics objective. So as you all know, whenever someone talk about AI, there will be ethical debate on that. So maybe it is with the layoff in big MNCs, because with AI, they can do the automated task 24/7 without needing any break or anything. It's very efficient as well because going through 1,000 records in fractions of second is not possible for any humans, but a machine can do that. Yeah. So yeah, sometimes we have to think in a ethical way. When you have more accuracy, when you deal with accuracy, you have to bear in mind that it should be an ethical one, right? So mostly the fear of AI machine learning models are it can perpetuate bias. So sometimes unintentionally it can harm social harms. Uh, the best example I would give is, so I believe most of you have watched the movie Endiran. So imagine that what happens if you have a robot like that, but unintentionally sometimes it can hurt you. It doesn't mean to hurt you, but some environmental impact or some sudden causes it may react. So we have to be very careful with dealing with ethics. So in ethics, mainly we will be focusing on bias and fairness, because when you supply data to learn the patterns from those data, the machines are very clever to learn the patterns um, which humans feel it's not important or we neglect it. But machines rely on those patterns as well, right? So that may lead to bias or fairness. So how you are going to give your data? So prefer quality over quantity. So it's not like you have to give more and more data to bring your model a best one. Think about the quality of the data you provide. So make sure it is free from bias and the model treats everyone fair using the test and audit after the deployment and before the deployment. And the privacy things. So privacy is also a concern when we deal with deep learning, especially in deep fakes and when you use this assistants like Alexa and Siri. So Alexa and Siri, there was an issue like they spy on every person's life because they will be active for the wake up word. For example, for Siri, if you say, "Hey Siri," that's a wake up word for Siri. So Siri will be always in an attentive position to hear the wake up word, "Hey Siri." So all your conversation is being listened by Siri. Sometimes, who knows, the Apple may use it. So, and also, have you ever wondered if you Google some product to buy? For example, if you want to buy a refrigerator, so you go to Google and search and find some interesting models. So next day, when you go to any of your social media, it can be Facebook or it can be Instagram. So anywhere, you will see those advertisements. That clearly shows that your data is not secure with the search engine you searched. It is sold to social media. So it is widely used in other platforms as well. So privacy is important concern. So most of the things we use, for example, if you visit a website, so they are collecting your data. So normally they give you a disclaimer to accept all or the cookie declaration. I mean, so in UK, I have seen that in some areas you can just reject it. You don't have you have the right not to give your data to any of the website you visit. But in India, I never seen that because we have to accept it. Then only they will give you access to view the content of the page. Yeah. So the privacy should be respected. So whenever the data is collected, so data should be free from this cyber attacks, or security measures should be in place when you are dealing with sensitive data. And when we talk about ethics, we have this accountability issue. So once a model commits a mistake, who is going to be the responsible person? Whether the person who collected all those data and gave the input for for training the model, or the person who bought the deep learning model, and the persons who use the deep learning model. So there is a dilemma to point out who is accountable for a mistake committed by AI, right? So these areas we have to be concerned of when we think about deep learning models. So now tell me, where do you think AI should never be used and why? So is there any application you think that AI is not good, so we should stop using AI? So if not, if you agree with using AI doing better than human in certain area, you can specify that as well. Yeah, good. Education, brilliant. Medicines, it is risk for life. Yeah, I can agree with that, but things like diagnosis are better with machine learning models than the humans. But I understand that. For example, if you think if the machine learning is giving you 99.9% accurate result, that means out of 1,000 person or 1,000 patient, one is going to die. So ethically, we cannot allow that. I can't allow one person to die because of the mistake the deep learning model does. Yeah, but in medical area, machine learning is amazingly performing better than humans, I would say. But how we can do that is we can have a human in loop. So whenever some decision has been made, the expert should be agreeing to that, whether the decision is right or not. Yeah. Employment. Yeah, employment. So think about the work AI does. So in most of the website, they have replaced the customer support person with chatbots. So you go to the chatbot, you ask any questions any number of times, it is going to give you the answer. What about asking a customer support person again, a same question? He will be annoyed and he'll be shouting at you, isn't it? So in employment, yeah, there are areas like creation of art where the AI is not very good at, I would say, but still, yeah, good. My medical diagnosis, they don't later used everywhere. Business were higher due to AI. So in business, mostly they use artificial intelligence for business analytics to analyze the trends in their business, how well they are performing, to predict where the business will be in the next 5 years. Yeah. In law. Mhm. So yeah, good. Researchers' knowledge is not fully utilized. Yeah, I agree with that. Yes. In share markets, mhm, learning self using AI tools like ChatGPT. Yeah, that's really convincing because ChatGPT doesn't always give the right answer. It convinces you to believe its answer. So it hallucinates most of the time. If you ask the question, it's like you ask the question to a drunken person. It gives you a different answer whenever you ask the same question different times, right? So sometimes it convinces you to believe that this is the right answer. It gives you the projection. So you should not trust ChatGPTs now, I would say, because in future I don't know whether the ChatGPT can be acquiring more data and even outperform human. Who knows? Yeah, good. Deepfakes, yes, it's another important privacy concern, right? It can lead to some bad decision in someone else's life. Yeah, I agree with that. So now the saddest part is you can't live away with AI. So AI will be in all the fields, including education. It will be in medicine. It will be everywhere. So how many of you are using Google? So most of us are using Google. So in that we have deep learning. So when you go to the shop and you buy stuff, so I think in nowadays in our area I didn't see much, but in most of the places here they have the CCTV camera which captures the items you purchase. They use that to develop their business. They use those data to analyze the people buying history or patterns to improve their business. Yeah. So we can't say or we can't stop AI at this point. AI will be in all the places. Even you can expect a judge AI very soon. Okay. So because AI can feed more data than any human does, it can go through thousands of documents to bring the information, right? So the thing is, you should be careful with the results AI bring. So how you are developing the AI matters. So there should be strict policies in place and regulations for developing models. Make sure that it is assisting human, it's not overpowering human. And also, students using ChatGPT, I have seen people or students using ChatGPT for their assessment here. So the thing is, they don't understand anything. They just rely on ChatGPT. At least they don't go and research whether the content given by ChatGPT is true or not. That's the saddest thing. So don't believe ChatGPT that it's going to give you all the right answer all the time. Do your own research and get your understanding on the particular topic. Because humans become dumb on relying. Exactly. So that's very true. Humans are becoming dumb because of this AI. So AI is giving everything in a fractions of second, and we are getting lazy. But still, we should find out a way where we have to prove that we are smarter than AIs, right? Good. Fantastic. So let's move to the case study. So here I have brought Amazon's AI recruiting tool. So in 2019, Amazon developed an AI model to screen all the resumes to identify the top talented candidates for the job roles, specifically for technical roles like software developers. And eventually, they have learned that there was a bias in the training data. So training data they took was from the past 10 years of recruitment in the same company. So say same Amazon. So the past 10 years data they have used to train the model. And unfortunately, there was a gender bias. Let's say, for example, the Amazon is a place where male are dominated and there were less women or female employees working with Amazon. So they didn't think that it would create a big problem. But what happened is the deep learning models tried to penalize the female candidates' resumes and selected male candidates' resumes. And even they tried to fix this model, but it didn't work because it tried to penalize the words like if a person is studied in the women's college, it took that as also a way to penalize that or to reject the female candidates' resumes. So eventually they are forced to scrap this model by 2017. So this is why we have to be very careful about this bias because AI can be dangerously discriminative, like not like any other human. So it should be it should be taken very carefully when you are dealing with this ethical things of AI. So there should be proper regulations like GDPR. In GDPR, we have the right to explanation. So we have to be following this GDPR, and we have to have dedicated AI Act, which has all the policies related to AI models we develop. Yeah. Perfect. So, what in this case study model, whom do you blame? So, who is responsible or accountable for this AI hiring tool failure? Whom do you think? Because of this person, this didn't work. Okay, so here's your countdown. So here we cannot point out anyone here because eventually everyone is responsible for this failure, I would say, because the data sources had the bias which was unnoticed by the people who did the training. And the leadership, they failed to identify the issue once they deploy it. They didn't analyze the aftermath deployment results. So that could be a chance. And failure to stick to or to comply with the government regulations. Maybe that time we don't have uh, dedicated regulations for governing this AI stuff. So once we face certain mistakes or disaster, there will be some policies coming up, isn't it? So for AI also, it's like that. So once we get to know, so this is the threat, then there will be some meetings going on in the government side to bring up certain policies. So we have to identify certain best practices to bring in order to prevent these kind of effects in future. Yeah. So moving onwards, this is the path ahead of us. So most of us are educators here. So we have to be revamping our courses to make the next generation students to think beyond the accuracy. So normally in our research, even in my research, we will be focusing on accuracy. We fail to address the computational cost or the ethical side of your model. So we have to think beyond the accurate results. So if you are getting all the time right answer, doesn't mean that your mission is accomplished. You have to think as a responsible person contributing to the society. So this should be set clear by educators to their students. As a researchers, I would say go on, publish negative results. So it's not like every time you have to have this, you have to aim for maximum accurate results, rather than you talk about the trade-offs. So in some cases, there are cases where the efficiency dropped very minimally when you are using the compressed model. So that can be done, because we will not have any model which is best with all the things, but there can be reasonable trade-offs where you emphasize more on ethics and all the other 3 E's, which are very important, I would say. And to everyone, you have the right to demand transparency. So whenever you protect yourself, protect your data, I would say. So most of us would have tried the Ghibli trend. So have you ever thought of that? So if someone is asking you a photo, will you be giving them? No. But if they propose a trend, so everyone started uploading all their personal pictures to get the comic version of themselves. Yeah. So what privacy we have in that? So if you are sending your pictures, everyone can extract your features, like in deepfake. They can extract your features, and they can create a deepfake video, and they can unlock your phones, right? So demand transparency. Ask the question how it is predicting and why it is doing that, because we have to know. For example, if you are working in a marketing field and you predict the possible number of customers leaving the organization, it's not like all the time you predict correctly and the customers are leaving. So we have to understand why they are leaving, what is the reason. So sometimes you may be sending multiple mails that annoyed them for they left the organization. So why they are leaving, that's the main thing we have to understand. So demand the transparency, I would say. So that's it for today. And if you want to get connected, I'm always one mail ahead. So you can always mail me at lyernisha.sr@uv.ac.uk. And also you can connect me in LinkedIn if you wish. Thank you everyone for being here patiently till this time. And if you have any questions, I'm open for it. You can ask your questions. And if not, we will wind up this session. Thank you so much. So do anyone have any questions? No? Are you tired after the long session?
No, ma'am. Very interesting. Very interesting.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Means a lot.
Any queries from the participant side?
No, ma'am.
So thank you, everyone.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
So is it okay if I leave?
Ma'am, we have a vote of thanks, ma'am.
All right, then I'll wait.
Oh, okay, ma'am.
Yeah.
So as we conclude this FDP, it's my duty to remember and thank each one of you and extend a heartfelt thanks to everyone who have involved in making this FDP a resounding success. First of all, I would like to thank the management of Mar Ephraim College of Engineering and Technology, Very Reverend Father Satish Kumar, the correspondent and secretary, Professor Dr. A. Lenin Fred, the principal, Reverend Father Hebin, the bursar, the academic director, Professor Dr. N. Austin, for hosting this FDP and providing the necessary infrastructure and resources. I also express my deepest gratitude to our esteemed resource persons, Dr. Jeba Berlin, Ms. Alan Rubajos, Dr. G. Sonia Priyadarshini, Dr. Cynthia, Dr. Lyernisha, for sharing their expertise and insights on the latest advancements in deep learning. Your lectures, discussions, and hands-on sessions have significantly enhanced our understanding committee members, Mr. Ashwin, Dr. Jerusalem Carroll, Ms. Lindsay C.T., Dr. Benisha Janice, Ms. Asti Evangeline, Ms. Janila, Ms. Jinita, for the meticulous planning, coordination, and execution of the program. Your tireless efforts have ensured a smooth and enriching experience for all the participants. I would also like to acknowledge the IQAC coordinator, Professor Dr. R. Ben Swartz, and the social media and content manager, Mr. Rajay, who are behind this program in making this FDP a successful one. Finally, a huge thanks to all our participants for being an integral part of this national level FDP. Your enthusiasm, engagement, and active participation have made this program a memorable and enriching experience. We appreciate the time and effort you have invested in learning and growing with us. Thank you for being a part of this journey, and we wish you all the best in your future endeavors. Once again, thank you all for your participation, support, and contribution. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am.
Most welcome. Thank you. It's my honor.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you. So I'll post the feedback link. So
Feedback
kindly enter the. I'll post. Kindly enter the feedback, and by the next week you will receive the certificates. Thank you. Any clarifications?
I didn't register, but I am attending a session every day, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am. No problem. We'll issue the certificate, ma'am.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you. Any other clarifications?
Sendamari. Hello, ma'am. Hello.
Hello?
Hello, ma'am. I'm Dr. Sendamari.
Ma'am.
Hello, ma'am. Are you here?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, it's wonderful FTP arrangements. Thank you for giving our this occasions.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your
Wonderful
feedback.
coordinations, and the resource person is very brilliant and more knowledge to deliver present time. Thank you
Thank you,
so
ma'am.
much.
Thank you,
Thank
ma'am.
you so
Thank
much,
you for
ma'am.
your feedback.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Today is a very interactive section. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Participants can enter the feedback and leave. Thank you.